There's a concept in physics called a phase transition. It's the moment when a substance, under just the right conditions of temperature and pressure, abruptly changes its fundamental nature. Water under pressure doesn't just get hotter. At a precise point, it flashes into steam. Its properties, its behavior, its very essence are transformed. These transitions are not gradual, they are sudden, total, and irreversible. For the last few years, we've been watching the temperature and pressure build in the world of artificial intelligence. We've been adding heat in the form of massive investment and unprecedented computing power. We've been adding pressure in the form of a relentless competitive race. We've been watching the water get hotter, telling ourselves it's still just water. This week, we witnessed a phase transition. The technology we've been tracking didn't just get a little bit better. It changed its state of matter. It flashed from a passive tool that we command into a proactive agent that collaborates with us. An intelligence that is ambient, anticipatory, and for the first time lives not in a distant cloud, but in our pockets. This is the moment the conversation shifts from what we can do with AI to what AI can do for us, and more pointedly, without us. The properties of work itself have been fundamentally and irreversibly transformed. Welcome back to AI Replaced Me. It's August 23rd, 2025, and I'm your host, Koby Ofek. This is episode 16. This week's Made by Google event showcased new hardware, including the Pixel 10 phones and a new watch. The underlying story, however, was the commercial-scale deployment of a new philosophy, the Agentic shift. This marks the moment AI evolves from being a responsive tool you command to a proactive agent that participates in your life. It's the transition from a passive assistant awaiting orders to an active partner that anticipates your needs and orchestrates actions across your apps. Google is betting that this is how we finally solve the productivity paradox. That decades-long mystery of why our computers haven't made us proportionally more productive. The true revolution, the engine driving this shift, is happening under the hood. It's the synergy between Google's new custom-built Tensor G5 chip and its on-device Gemini Nano model. This represents more than a simple spec bump. It's a strategic pivot away from the cloud. The G5, built on an advanced 3-nanometer process, has a tensor processing unit, the part of the chip that handles AI that is up to 60% more powerful than its predecessor. The key is that it's been co-designed with the Gemini Nano AI model, allowing AI-driven features to run an estimated 2.6 times faster, all without needing a constant connection to a data center. This on-device strategy is a multi-pronged competitive assault designed to solve the three biggest problems plaguing the AI industry: cost, privacy, and latency. First, cost. Running these massive AI models in the cloud is astronomically expensive in terms of energy and infrastructure. Offloading that work to the user's device saves Google potentially billions of dollars. Second, privacy. By processing your personal data on your phone instead of sending it to a remote server, Google directly neutralizes Apple's biggest competitive advantage and addresses a huge consumer fear. And third, latency. The lag in communicating with the cloud is what makes many AI interactions feel clunky. On-device processing eliminates that lag, enabling the instantaneous, almost magical experiences that define this new generation of tools. This puts immense pressure on rivals, particularly Apple. While Google is shipping these features now, Apple's own AI-powered overhaul of Siri has reportedly been delayed until 2026 at the earliest. The pressure is so intense that, according to recent reports, Apple is now in active talks to potentially license Google's Gemini to power the next generation of Siri, a stunning strategic concession. So what does this feel like in practice? It feels like a tool that can anticipate your thoughts. A new feature called Magic Queue is designed to connect the dots across your apps. Imagine you get a text from a friend asking for your flight's arrival time. Instead of you having to leave the conversation, search your email, find the flight confirmation, and copy the details, Magic Queue does it for you. It sees the context of the text, finds the itinerary in your Gmail, and presents a suggested reply with the correct flight number, ready to send with a single tap. This extends into specialized professional services, previewed with the AI Health Coach. This is a specialized agent that acts as a fitness trainer, sleep consultant, and wellness advisor all in one. It integrates your stated goals with real-time biometric data from your watch and even qualitative input. You can literally tell it, "I tweaked my back," and it will adjust your workout plan accordingly. This provides a clear blueprint for how AI agents will begin to automate and democratize a whole range of knowledge-based services. Now, let's focus on the workplace, because this is where the phase transition becomes most apparent. The line between a consumer gadget and an enterprise tool has been completely erased. The agentic shift is aimed squarely at automating the cognitive connective tissue of knowledge work, the endless, time-consuming tasks of finding information, switching between applications, and coordinating actions. This is the work about work that consumes a huge portion of our day. With features like workspace flows, Gemini is designed to act as a digital teammate, autonomously executing multi-step processes across your work apps. Consider a project manager. Their job today involves constantly chasing updates, manually compiling status reports, and reminding team members of deadlines. With an AI agent, they can set the high-level goals, and the agent orchestrates the rest, monitoring progress in shared documents, flagging risks from team chats, and generating real-time dashboards. The human's value shifts from administrative execution to strategic oversight and exception handling. In software development, the new Agent mode for Code Assist allows a developer to state a high-level goal, and the AI will generate a step-by-step plan and then execute it, modifying multiple files across a codebase to achieve the objective. This changes the very nature of the job. The most valuable skill is no longer writing flawless code line by line, but the ability to architect a system, define a problem with absolute clarity, and critically evaluate the AI's output. The human becomes the architect and the quality control supervisor, not the bricklayer. This forces a redefinition of roles across the board. A marketer's value is no longer in writing 20 variations of ad copy, but in defining the strategic brief and selecting the single most effective AI-generated option. The most powerful productivity device you own is no longer the laptop on your desk. It is the proactive agent in your pocket. And its arrival demands a new set of skills centered on judgment, strategic direction, and creative problem solving. Just as Google laid out this clear, cohesive vision of an AI-augmented future, the leaders of the tech world revealed just how profoundly divided they are about what to do with it. This week, we saw a fundamental disagreement on corporate strategy play out in public. On one side, you have the human capital argument. On August 21st, Matt Garman, the CEO of Amazon Web Services, the company that sells the computational power for this entire revolution, was asked about the idea of replacing junior staff with AI. His response was stunningly blunt. He called it, quote, "the dumbest thing I've ever heard." His reasoning cuts straight to the core of long-term business strategy. First, he argues, junior employees are cheap. The ROI on replacing your least expensive workers with costly AI systems is questionable at best. Second, they are your innovation engine. Entry-level staff, he says, are the most leaned into your AI tools, the ones most likely to experiment and find novel uses for the technology. But his most powerful point was about the talent pipeline. He asked, how's that going to work when 10 years in the future you have no one that has learned anything? Firing your juniors is a form of corporate self-harm. You're eating your seed corn, destroying the very pipeline that produces your future leaders. On the very same day Garmin made that statement, we saw the other side of the argument, the financial capital strategy. Meta, after a massive multi-billion-dollar talent poaching spree to build its AI division, abruptly froze all AI hiring. The reasons are a perfect storm of C-suite anxieties. The move comes amid growing fears of an AI investment bubble, fueled by a recent MIT report claiming 95% of companies are getting zero return on their AI investments. And even OpenAI's Sam Altman comparing the current hype to the dot-com bubble. There is also immense pressure from investors. Analysts at Morgan Stanley explicitly warned that the lavish, 9-figure salaries being paid to AI talent were threatening shareholder returns. While the official line from Meta is routine organizational planning to build a solid structure for its superintelligence efforts, the message to Wall Street is clear. We are getting costs under control. These two stories, happening simultaneously, are a perfect, real-time illustration of a concept called the Turing trap. The trap is when a business becomes so fixated on creating human-like AI for the sole purpose of automating labor and cutting costs that it forgets to build tools that augment unique human skills. This hollowing out of the talent pipeline is exactly what Matt Garman is warning against. He's making the case for the augmentation dividend, investing in people to work with AI. Meanwhile, Meta's hiring freeze, driven by short-term financial pressure and a desire for efficiency, looks exactly like a company walking straight into that trap. The ultimate paradox is that the CEO of the world's largest cloud provider, the man selling the shovels in this gold rush, is making the most compelling case for investing in human capital. This exposes a deep uncertainty and a lack of a coherent strategy at the very highest levels of the industry. So while the tech industry wrestles with its own contradictions, how is the public processing all of this? The answer, according to a major new poll this week, is with profound and growing anxiety. An August 19th Reuters, Trier, Ipsos poll served as a direct pulse check on public sentiment, and the headline figure is a gut punch. 71% of US adults are concerned that artificial intelligence will permanently displace large swathes of the workforce. This is now a mainstream consensus. It's a fear grounded in projections from institutions like the World Economic Forum, which forecasts a net loss of 14 million jobs globally by 2027, and Goldman Sachs, which estimates 300 million full-time jobs could be affected. The anxiety also goes far deeper than just our paychecks. The poll paints a picture of a society grappling with AI's multifaceted and often frightening implications. 77% fear AI will be used to generate fake videos and incite political chaos, threatening the very fabric of democracy. 66% fear that AI companions could supplant genuine human relationships. An existential fear about the nature of human connection. 61% are concerned about AI's massive and growing electricity consumption, linking the digital revolution to tangible, planetary constraints. And perhaps most chillingly, 58% believe AI could risk the future of humankind. This widespread public anxiety is the logical and predictable consequence of the technological leaps and strategic confusion we've just discussed. The public sees demonstrations of technologies like Google's Agentic AI, and they understand intuitively that this is a different kind of technological shift, one that automates not just tasks, but entire cognitive workflows. Then they hear the leaders of this revolution sending completely contradictory messages. Matt Garman says juniors are safe. Meta's actions suggest they are not. Anthropic's CEO Dario Amodei predicts a white-collar bloodbath, while Nvidia's Jensen Huang promises more and better jobs. This combination of overwhelming technological power and the complete absence of a clear, trustworthy narrative from leadership creates a vacuum. That vacuum is inevitably being filled with fear. The poll is a mirror, reflecting the industry's own chaos back at it. The public's fear is being actively amplified by the industry's failure to articulate a coherent, human-centric vision for the future of work. All right, let's look at the horizon with a few quick flashes from the front lines. Flash 1. The generational fault line. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman has a provocative theory. He believes Gen Z are the luckiest kids in all of history, uniquely positioned to build billion-dollar businesses as individuals using AI, but he expresses genuine concern for Generation X and older workers, who he fears may be less willing or unable to retrain. This isn't just about skills. It's a forecast of a generational recalibration of economic power. Flash 2. The HR identity crisis. A recent Financial Times headline asked a question that would have been absurd 5 years ago. Does HR still need humans? With AI now handling everything from recruitment to training, and predictions that up to 80% of current HR functions could eventually be automated, the role is facing a radical redefinition. The future of HR may lie not in administration, but in mastering the uniquely human skills of empathy, complex conflict resolution, and ethical oversight. Flash 3. The silent squeeze offshore. While domestic layoffs grab headlines, a new MIT report reveals AI's first casualties are often in offshore and outsourced roles. Companies aren't firing people. They're simply not renewing contracts with external vendors, letting AI quietly absorb those functions. It's a form of invisible displacement that allows companies to boost productivity without the PR fallout of domestic job cuts, fundamentally restructuring the global labor market from under the radar. Flash 4. The automation barbell. A final thought from the trenches of this transition, captured in a simple belief. The barbell career, deep human moat plus broad AI fluency, outlifts any single heavyweight skill. This is about mastering both ends of the spectrum, becoming irreplaceable in areas of deep empathy and strategic judgment, while also becoming fluent in prompting and orchestrating the machines. We started today with a phase transition, the moment AI changed its fundamental nature, becoming a proactive agent in our lives and our work. We saw how this leap forward has created a deep rift in the C-suite, pitting long-term talent strategy against short-term financial pressure. And we saw the result: a public that is justifiably anxious, not just about their jobs, but about the very fabric of our society. The central conflict of our time is no longer about adapting to AI. The technology is here. The real challenge, the one that leaders like Matt Garman are grappling with, is defining the strategy for human-AI collaboration. The question is no longer, what can AI do? But what do we want humans to do? The choice between augmentation and pure automation is a leadership one. It's a choice between the short-term win of the Turing trap and the long-term value of the augmentation dividend. Navigating that choice, building a strategy for yourself and your organization, is the most critical work ahead. It's about proactively designing your role to work with these new cognitive partners. That's the core framework I explore in my book, Keep Your Day Job: How to AI-Proof Your Career. It's available on Amazon and wherever you get your books. Join me next week on AI Replaced Me as we continue to track the signals in this ever-changing landscape. Thanks for tuning in.